Cameras and microphones are turned off, so we may focus on the presentation today. However, you are encouraged to use the chat to engage, network, and ask questions. I also have another note for any environmental sciences or geosciences majors. Unfortunately, we have a scheduling conflict for tomorrow evening's session with ACP. So any of you who are planning to attend the American Corporate Partner session tomorrow, I want to let you know that the Careers in GIS panel for GIS Day is being recorded, and you can catch the full session later on the SNHU Career YouTube page if you're attending the ACP event at the same time. So don't worry, you won't miss out. Also, please also note that for security and legal reasons, participants' use of any AI tool during this event, including Read AI or Otter AI, is prohibited. SNHU is dedicated to inclusive meeting experiences. If you would like to enable live captions, select the three dots at the top of the Microsoft Teams window and expand the More menu. Choose Language and Speech from the drop-down and click Show Live Captions. Captions will show on your screen as the presenters are speaking during the session. We are also presenting using PowerPoint Live. This means you can click any hyperlinks live in the presentation. PowerPoint Live also provides additional accessibility options. You may select the three dots at the bottom of the presentation slides. You'll find a magnifying slide option with a minus sign or a zoom out or a plus to zoom in, a toggle button to view slides in high contrast, or the option to translate the slide to a preferred language. These features will only affect your individual experience and not the overall presentation. So please feel welcome to use the available accessibility options at your discretion. Individuals with accessibility needs requiring accommodations may reach out to the following resources. Online students can contact the SNHU Online Accessibility Center at oac@snhu.edu or by calling 866-305-9430. Campus students can contact the Campus Accessibility Center at cac@snhu.edu or by calling 603-644-3118. And Southern New Hampshire University staff and faculty can request accommodations through resources in Workday or the source. Please note that any request for CART, C-A-R-T, or live ASL interpreting requires at least 3 weeks advance notice. Before we get started, I also want to share with everyone that you are welcome to connect with the SNHU Career Services team. It's an included benefit for all active SNHU students and alum as a lifetime resources. Email the team at cocecareer@snhu.edu or call 1-888-672-1458 for support with resume reviews, mock interview practice, job search guidance, and so much more. You can also visit the SNHU Career 360 page, an engaging self-service career resource provided by the SNHU Career team. Make sure to also take advantage of possible connections available through the extensive network available to you as an active SNHU student, alum, including the Handshake Career Platform, SNHU LinkedIn Community, the SNHU Career YouTube page, Facebook, Instagram, and SNHU Career X account. Also check out SNU Connect or SNHU Connect. SNHU Connect is our internal student networking platform accessible through My SNU. All right, so without further ado, it is my pleasure to introduce our presenters today. I'm going to start with Bo Higgins. Bo Higgins is a veteran and talent expert and VP with Oplign. Bo, welcome. While your slide is up on the screen, if you want to say hello and tell us a little bit more about yourself.
Awesome. Well, hey, no, thanks, Jim. Great to be here today. And I appreciate this opportunity. Of quick background, and the slides is most of it. I was 25 years Marine Corps. I ran all the veteran hiring programs at Amazon for 7 years, and that's where Jim and I first crossed paths, and working with SNHU for quite some time. I left Amazon a couple years ago. I've been working with Oplign since then, and our tool, as you will see tonight, is a free resource for veterans, for military spouses, for student veterans. It works for students that aren't veterans as well. It works for anybody, for that matter. It is just an amazing resource. And again, it's a foot stomper. It is a resource that can help align your skills to open jobs. It also, for companies that use the tool, and companies like Amazon, Boeing, J&J, Verizon, Wells Fargo, and down the line, use this tool extensively to help find veteran talent. And it makes it easy for those recruiters and sourcers, most of which are not veterans, to understand what veterans and our military spouses bring to the table. So look forward to sharing this demo tonight. Alex and Tom are here with me, but they will they're the experts on the tool. But please, if you want to reach out to me, feel free. I'm happy to share or work with you. I talk to veterans every week that are transitioning out and have a pretty extensive network and a lot of different companies out there. So great to be here. Thank you very much, and I hope you're able to use the Oplign tool with success. Thanks.
All right, Alex, I'm going to throw it on over to you so you can do a quick introduction yourself.
Yeah, that's a much younger picture right there.
Who's that guy? Who is that guy?
You like that? You like that? Yeah, I love that picture. Anyway, so yeah, my name is Alex Calfee, one of the co-founders of Oplign, EVP, and I just 5 years in the Marine Corps, had a great time doing it, got out and went into industry, and I went back to school, did all the things, and I enjoy really working with veterans. And one of my life goals is make sure that every veteran I interact with gets the best opportunities available to them based on the capabilities that they've got. So yes, IO right there, David. Two-time grad at the Ohio State University as well, but I'm here today to talk a little bit about Oplign and what we've done to help veterans, military affiliated folks, student vets, like many of the folks on the call, spouses, dependents, and just plain old everybody understand where they fit into the labor market. So I don't have a ton of slides to kind of go through. I'm just going to talk a little bit about the platform, and then I'll show how it works as well. So basically, what we did, and we approached the overall. I'll go ahead and share my screen. We approached the problem of, where do I fit in the labor market, right? That was the big problem. And then thinking about, what is the labor market? Well, it's an exchange, right? So you have skills and abilities and certifications and levels of education, everything else that you've gained through your military experience, through your education, through your life experience, all of these sorts of things. And we generally like to put those on a resume. But the problem is, you start summing up 20 years in the military plus education, and then you've got a resume that no one wants to read. And then at the same time, you don't know what companies are out there. You might have an idea, right? If you're interested in the medical field, let's say you want to go into medical device sales or something. Well, I should probably go talk to J&J or Stryker. But there are a ton of other companies out there that also are looking for those, for people who are interested and capable in that space, and across the board. So what we're really trying to do at the end of the day is provide our users, and our users are our users. We're not our customers are companies, right? So our job seeker users, we want to treat you with respect. We'll never sell your information. We don't do any weird stuff with marketing or kind of spamming you or signing you up for anything. I hate that personally. We'll never do it as long as I have any say over it. So, feel comfortable using the platform. But what we're trying to do is give you the ability to see where you fit in the labor market, because it is a market, right? It's an exchange. So companies every day are posting what they're looking for in the labor market by creating job descriptions and posting those job descriptions. Now, it would take you all day and all night to go through every job that you might actually be interested in and qualified for, and no one's got time to do that. So what we've done is we've ingested millions of jobs structured the labor market. I won't go into the details. If you're curious, you can always hit me up. I'll tell you. I'll bore you to death with it. But we structured the labor market so it's very easy to identify where you, based on the skills and abilities that you know about yourself, are able to to participate. So. And we do this through a kind of couple step process. The first step is hitting that link, and I think Jim, that I couldn't find it on the site yet. I'm not sure if it's up yet.
List.
I'm sorry. So we are. So the link is available. I think Jim, it's been pushed. It's been either pushed out to the group or can be pushed out afterwards. I can always send it out as well. But when you hit that link, you'll see a page that is not filled in, but looks like this. And so, we ask some very basic information, your email, your location. The location could be kind of where you are now. It can be where you want to be, perhaps. Like, hey, I know that the SNHU is, online and in person. So there's going to be people from all over the country and all over the world, honestly, kind of participating in this. So where do you see yourself? Doesn't mean that you're only going to get jobs, in this case, in Columbus, Ohio, but it's a starting point, right? And there's opportunities at every step to add information, but also once you get signed up and are in the platform itself, you can always add more information. So there are people that I know personally that have had multiple MOSs, right? Military occupational specialties. They've also been in multiple branches of the service. So there's opportunities later on to add more information. What we're trying to do here is just get a start, right? Kind of push off a wall into the pool and begin swimming. So I've already preloaded some information in here. Pretty standard kind of thing. When I hit save, this is the thing that pops up. So it is the initial skills survey that we ask. So we're going to ask you things based on your military experience, based on your education experience, what you're actually looking to do. So I won't go through this. I won't insult your intelligence to read this out to you, but do know that these qualifications are coming out of both the military experience that you have as well as the jobs that exist that you should be looking at initially. This doesn't mean that that these are the only jobs that you're going to be qualified for. That doesn't mean that you can't add more information, and you can always pivot into different directions. I'll walk through what that looks like. But so a person comes in. We're going to ask you stuff that are items that are going to be relevant to you based on what we kind of know about you. I think I put, what did I put here? 0311 rifleman. These change depending on what you did. So if you're 1161, refrigeration mechanic, and put that in there, it's going to ask a whole bunch of other things that are going to be relevant to being a refrigeration mechanic in the Marine Corps. If you were a surface warfare officer in the Navy, or a master chief or something, it's going to ask you a whole bunch of different things. So again, the whole point here is just to give you the a starting point to begin looking at where you go. So I'll do the rifleman again here. Right, so we're going to ask you a bunch of things. Hey, I'm interested in talking to a recruiter or veteran hiring advocate. That's important because if you're an active job seeker, this sets up a gate in the system that says, hey, I'm actually interested. I want to be contacted. I want to have interactions with recruiters that are looking to hire people that meet their qualifications, that look like me, that they have the skills that I present. So we're going to ask you things like, hey, do you have a CDL? You never know. And also in the military, you tend to do things that are not just your MOS. You have adjacent jobs, right? I was in the Marine Corps for 5 years. I had 4 MOSs. And so that a couple of them were primary MOSs, and a couple of them were secondary or BMOSs, as we call them in the Marine Corps. So, there's opportunities to get certifications in the military that, you wouldn't normally get if you were just working a regular job, but they're great opportunities. So we're going to ask you, do you have a passport, driver's license? This is generally because a lot of our contractor buddies that hire out of this platform, folks like Boeing and folks like that, They want to know that you are eligible to work in some sort of cleared position very often. We'll ask you do you have some career schools, right? These mean certain things in the system. We know what a sergeant's course, what that actually results in, that there's a leadership component to that, right? So we're not just asking did you go to the sergeant's course because we want to know if you went to the sergeant's course. That actually translates into something in the civilian world. So that's very important to kind of keep in mind. We're asking these things because they actually do mean something in the civilian world, but the people in the civilian world, the hiring managers and recruiters that might not, Uncle Joe might have been a veteran, but they know nothing about the military. They wouldn't know what that meant if they just saw it on a resume, right? So, scrolling back through, we'll, maybe I'm interested in trades or corrections officer. We're going to ask you things that 0311s get asked for right here. This would be different if you were if you were a 25 uniform in the Army, right? So let's see, going through, maybe you did some system in for your captain, like I did, and ask a couple other things. So we'll kind of skip through this real quick, but you can see, get the point. We're going to ask you if you're interested in certain things, because again, especially for jobs that are like the 0311s of the world, Marine infantry, 11 Bravos in the Army, aviation ordnancemen in the Navy, right? The 1, 2, 3 lift jobs of the world. We're going to ask you things that are going to be relevant to you, but also you don't have a ton of experience necessarily, so maybe you might be interested in certain things. So that's a key thing to understand, is companies will train you if you're interested, but you have to express that interest, and we're capturing that as quickly as possible. So I'll just kind of go through here, and let's relocate, travel for work, whatever. I'll hit save. System runs back and says, okay, based on that information, we're going to show you some jobs that you're qualified for. Now, what we've done is we've stood up a syndicate within the system of companies that Southern New Hampshire University either has relationships with, or that we have relationships with. They're hiring people like you. So you can see the company list. This is going to be relevant to this individual example. And I've got a bunch of different things in here, so we'll see what comes up. But it's going to have a whole list of companies, right, that some you've heard of, some you may not, but many of these you have. And you can look by role, right? And sorry, I'm a little thirsty. It's been a long day. So the system's just basically saying, okay, there are a lot of companies in here. There are a lot of business, a lot of different types of jobs in here. Because you're a Southern New Hampshire University, graduate or soon-to-be graduate, we're going to ask you questions like, hey, or show you opportunities like internships. So there are always internships available at different companies. You can do jobs right out of the gate based on, again, these are things because I had said that I've got some DBA, system administration skills, maybe I'm a hobbyist, or whatever. Business analyst jobs, and then you can look at the job. It'll take you right to the job, and you can look at the qualifications of the job right here. Now, the best part is, so this is just the ingestion engine, right? You'll get an email from Oplign directly to the email address that you provided, and it'll say, okay, click on this link. They'll activate your profile just like any other web-based service where you're signing up for something online using your email address, or make sure that the email is good, that we can communicate with you that way. And then you'll establish your profile that way. So let me go ahead and log in using that email address. But before I do that, I want to say on the right-hand side, we are also asking relevant skills in the different areas, and they're going to be wide-ranging, right? We start off under the assumption that you want to see more than less, than fewer jobs in the system. So we're going to ask you, hey, do you have system skills or business analyst skills? Again, this is all being pivoted off of what I said on the ingestion. We're going to ask you about data analytics skills, because that's what I checked off. So we're asking you Do you know about these things? Are you interested in these things? Do you have experience with platforms? If you do, go ahead and check it off. That will push that element into the profile, and it will match you to jobs that are asking for these, because these are all qualifications in jobs across a wide variety of jobs. Now you can down select that once you get in, and I'll show you what that looks like here. So I'm gonna go ahead and log in. Let's see. And I think there's there two. It's nothing more fun than watching someone fill out a form online. All right. Still, let's see. I did activate this guy earlier, so we didn't have to go through that process. All righty. Okay, so once I log in, it's going to ask me a couple things up front. All right, I said I wanted to talk to a recruiter, a veteran hiring advocate. I did not provide my my phone number initially, but if I wanted to, we actually have a direct communication module within Oplign that lets companies are actively using Oplign to identify and communicate with qualified talent. They can actually text message directly within the system, within the platform. So if you get a text message because you signed up for here, that you're actually talking to a live recruiter at that point. So that's just a good thing to know. You can also add, for those of us that are in the software world, you can add a GitHub account to show your work. Maybe it's sort of like a portfolio. Also a LinkedIn profile. You can add that in the system too. So right now, again, this is the fake guy that I built. It's what do we have? It's just sort of a dashboard, and it's going to show you on this side, on the left side of the screen. It's kind of like, hey, these are the skills I have, or the skills I can add. So I can click, I can add different MOSs. I can actually do all sorts of different MOSs there. I can add my education. I can, with all the details, even down to college courses. I can add if I did work a little bit, maybe I got out of the military. I worked some, and worked at Verizon as a lineman or as an installation tech or something like that. I could add that information here. I can add certifications I've gotten specific to a course. Like I could say, yeah, I got CISSP, right? Now I wouldn't put that here because it doesn't make any sense, but all you have to do is start typing and it will drop down. If you don't see a certification that you have, we are pretty good on that. We've got probably 95% of the certs that exist kind of in the market. But if you don't see yours, you can add it here as well. And it's just sort of a free text you can add here. So that also kicks out and it notifies us of a certification that we haven't heard about. So it's by adding that, you're actually improving the system as well. Work history, federal employment. If you worked in, maybe you did work at DHS or DOT or something like that. You can add that information here as well. And again, anytime you get confused or just need to get back to it, you can always click the logo in the upper left-hand corner. It'll always take you back to this screen. So on the left-hand side is the focus on on what you have. And then on the right-hand side is going to be the jobs that you're aligned to. And you can see up here, it'll give you kind of a high level. Here are the companies. Again, we have, I think it's about 15,000 companies right now that we're tracking. They're not our customers. These aren't people that, or companies that we necessarily all have relationships with, but we're ingesting their jobs. We're scraping job sites. We're pulling that information in. And it's just a way of giving you that awareness. And then in the middle, we have pathways. So these are pathways that you can look to either improve your own skill set. You got a degree from Southern New Hampshire, but maybe you also want to add an online course of some sort. You can always add those in here as well, and you can see where you are. But I'll cover that in a second. Tom, is there any questions? I just want to make sure I'm not getting ahead, or if there's something out there.
No, the chat's actually been pretty quiet. The only questions we had were about Navy rates and making sure that we have the updated ones, and if international numbers will work. And I think that the international numbers should work.
Yeah, I don't think we have it formatted for anything that's not international. Just make sure it's a number that you have access to. That's not like your desk number or something like that, because text messages won't go to anything that's not a mobile number. But yes, there is. That should, if you add the country code, it should work just fine. So again, so the skills resume, it's going to summarize everything you've got going on that you built right here, and I'm gonna click back through. Your education summary, right? This is what I've added in right here. You can always edit this as well, so that it is editable. So if you made a mistake or you want to add another piece of education, you can always do that. Under work experience, again, it's pretty standard. Like, it should make sense. We're always trying to improve it to make sure it helps people. And so under the surveys, we're going to, so I'll click that. And just thinking. All right. So going back to the underlying concept of what we're doing, pulling in jobs, we're pulling in qualifications, we have relationships with different companies that might be asking certain skills that you may have. And based on what you've told us, we're always looking for quick ways to add more information in your profile and make it more useful, more appropriate for you. So business analytics, that's a big thing going on nowadays, even with the whole AI stuff, activity that's going on in AI. It's still important to have the ability to interact, with technical tools. So because I includes that, under surveys, bring that open again, it's going to ask you targeted data about what experiences that you've got. Again, this is all updating your profile and making it more useful, making that alignment happen more quickly for the jobs that exist out there. So you can say, yeah, I've got experience with database, data visualization, tenant design, business analytics, but I've got some experience with Tableau, right? So these are all things that, again, if you've looked at job descriptions, you'll notice that these things are job quals. We've just standardized them and encoded them in a system in Oplign, so it makes it very easy to translate between the two. And you'll see as I add pieces of information in here, this information will actually change over time. And so I can go hit surveys, I can hit skills gaps. That's that one's, bring that one. Okay. And it will add the information. I can look at job locations. So if I'm interested in Florida, I'm in Ohio right now. I'm sure in New Hampshire you're having a little worse weather than I am, but it's, hey, I'm interested in Florida. So let's look at the jobs in Florida that are there. So I can click open the jobs with the companies and say, okay, well, we've got a EHS coordinator job. I can look at the job. And again, we're pulling in their qualifications and adding that information. And every time you click that off, it gets pushed into your profile. So we're literally taking what is being asked for in the labor market across all of these different companies and showing you, I don't know what job that was, just delivery driver job, but I can turn those jobs on and off because I know that's something that people are, hey, listen, I'm not really interested in certain jobs. So under jobs, let's see, we've made some changes here. I can add these and turn these off. So if I'm interested in
Alex, this is
internships.
This is the one question that's in the chat right now. She wanted to know how she could turn on and off functions because her MOS is different than what she wants to do. She wants to be marketing and not what she used to do.
That's right. That's right. And okay, great, because that's perfect. So under here, under jobs, I can click my job alignment. It'll take me to this screen, and under roles and functions, that button I could turn it off and only select, I only want to see business analyst jobs, and I only am interested in general sales jobs, let's just say. Two different things, right? So I click that. It's going to change the job mix right there. Now, this little notification up here in red will tell me that I have a filter on. So just so I remember. So if I'm like, where are all these jobs? Why can't I see these jobs? Well, the reason is because I've turned all those jobs off except for business analysts and general sales jobs. So you can adjust that. You can adjust that also under VetLine. Go here. And you'll be able to see, I'm sorry, we've made some changes here. Our team is always developing these things. So under military experience, you can edit that information as well. If you go to the military, you can add or subtract MOSs. Now I've added this, but if I added, let's say I was in the Army National Guard after I got in the Marine Corps, and I'm an E7 in the Guard. I've been in for 4 years, and I am now a 25 uniform. I hit save. Oop. Discharge here. It's going to be 20. Just make that up. Now it's going to run through that same. It's going to ask me again a list of things that I'm going to either have or not have. So I can add that information. I'm just going to click some random things here, just to kind of move through it. I hit save. That's going to push all of that information into the system. And now you can see that the number of companies I'm aligned to has changed, even though I turned off those skill sets in the military side. It's going to add a whole bunch of others into it. So now you can see, all right, well, now I want to see only cloud engineer jobs. So again, that's under jobs. And it's going to show me the cloud engineering jobs that exist in the system with the companies that have those sorts of jobs. So but again, that notification will be there. So that is how you can adjust, what you want to turn on and off. And you could do that without actually altering the data that's in the profile. It just filters down the jobs you want to see. So again, that's under jobs right there. And then let's see, any other questions? I've got a bunch of things turned on, so I'm not going to go through all of these because there's a lot of stuff here. But do you know that you can play around with this? You're not going to break anything. You can always go back and go to home and kind of start over to get to this. If you go to your skills resume, this is where you have that information. You can always delete it by hitting that little pencil button and remove these elements. All right. Experience. So I can delete this. I'm not interested in these. I'm not interested in force protection, even though I did that in the Marine Corps, right? So I can delete these elements, and it will, if I've added it accidentally or I'm just permanently not interested in becoming a quality tech, you can delete that as well. So that will remove that data permanently. You can always add it back in, but it will remove it from your profile completely. So you can actually change the mix of jobs that way as well. But to be honest, it's like your profile is your profile. You've done what you've done. So there's from adding information, deleting information, it's better to use just the filters to see the jobs that you actually want to see. Other questions?
I think we're actually kind of good. One of the things that I was talking about in the chat is the pathway section as well, so that you can see a better guide, or not a better guide, a guide path to go from one career field to another. And so that's
great.
A way to visualize what you need to do in the classes that you need to take.
Yeah, so we've got two sections here. We've got pathways already aligned. These are going to be, hey, I went to school, I went to SAHU, and I got a degree in business administration. But I'm hearing all these things about business analytics or business intelligence type work. So um, under, I'll go back to this. Let's make sure I tend to jump around real quick. Under the top section here, my paths and skill gaps, it's going to basically say, okay, based on where you are right now as a business analyst, here are the 4 levels as we see them, as Oplign sees them. Sort of think of these as generic jobs that are business analyst jobs, right? So thinking about all the tens of thousands of business analyst jobs that exist in the labor market. All right, a level 1 is entry level, all the way up to level 4 is a very senior type role, right? So if you open it up, you'll see that, okay, these are the qualifications of things that I've got, right? So I have good communication skills. These are things that are needed by business analysts. And if you don't have them, you can actually go look at these courses. And these are everything from Coursera courses. We also have the Southern New Hampshire courses. I believe we have them in here. And they're going to be back here. Sorry, it's moving a little slow. So actually, let me find this. I apologize. Okay. All right. So these are the Southern New Hampshire courses. This is back under higher education paths. Okay. Under the already aligned. So this is like, hey, I'm already on the business analyst pathway. Show me the courses at SNHU that are going to be relevant to these sorts of jobs. This sorts of activities. So we've pulled in from Southern New Hampshire University's course catalog the courses and kind of categorize them in a certain way to map to the requirements in a job. And so you could see that, all right, these are all different courses that I should be looking at if I'm interested in more in-depth financial analysis type jobs. They're right here, so I can literally just cut and paste that, add the course. Gotta wait for the drop down to come down. There it is. Add that course, and it's going to show up in here. Reset it. So this course, by adding this into my profile, it's basically saying I've got experience, entry-level experience in financial statement analysis and valuations. So it's going to add these courses into your course tracker, and it will help with course recommendations and all sorts of relevant courses are going to be in and around that business analysis field. Going back home, if you were looking at something different, right? So, hey, I'm interested in doing something completely different. Well, let's look and see what options I have. Okay, so these are the kind of basic primary pathways. So let's just say I was a 25 uniform in the Army, but I'm interested in kind of healthcare administration.
How about a 42 alpha to business administration?
So if you wanted to go into business administration, business analyst type of role, which is I think very selected at, but I've already got those covered down. If I had build my profile to be a 42 alpha, it's going to have a different mix of jobs in here, but I can always go and look and explore these different roles, these different career paths, and see what the market's asking, right? And at different levels, who's hiring these different for these different sorts of jobs. I got 320 jobs here at Cardinal Health. And right now we've got 150 explorable paths. We're always adding more. If you're interested in sales marketing, We're going to show you the requirements in a generalized sense here on the primary pathways. I'm going to go back home and show the training paths. So we're taking courses. Again, these are going to be training paths that are just online courses that are individual kind of either micro credentials or just something to dip into to get some more familiarity, maybe around, AI, data type stuff or IT productivity. So, maybe some lightweight software development, Python scripting. We're going to take you right to those courses there. Now, those are not part of the Southern New Hampshire's course catalog. That's going to be under the higher education paths. But if I wanted to do something completely different under new career paths, sorry, I'm clicking on that without highlighting it. So if I click new career paths, it's going to give me, okay, you want to do something completely different. Well, here is what you've got right now, right? Because remember, this is what I've clicked off when I entered the data initially. So it's if I just wanted to see those jobs right now, right? That's what I'm kind of initially qualified for based on my current experience. But if I wanted to do something completely different, these are the career paths that I could do in 6 to 15 months. Or, this is probably a little more time. You want to be an aerospace engineer, probably have to become an engineer, right? 36 plus months. There's all sorts of things here. If we need to become a construction manager or whatever, or a buyer, these are all different kind of generic jobs. These are not specifically tied to any one job. These are an aggregate of a collection of jobs that are HVAC tech jobs or compensation analyst jobs or what have you. We're going to show you again what the qualification requirements are. We're going to show you, for human resources, this is what's going to be needed. You can click these off. Actually, here you can't, but you can see what the requirements are. So if you wanted to pivot to those sorts of roles, these are the qualifications that you'll need to have. It gives you a little talk about, all right, this is the job description. This is sort of an estimated salary based on what we've seen and how long it'll take you to kind of get there. And that's under career paths. So, and then again, we're going from left to right all the way to what am I currently, what's currently available for me, what internships are out there. And then I can see, the alignment for me against all the open jobs that exist. This is, it could be a ton of stuff because I've clicked off a lot of things, but you can see that I've aligned the 17 functions. Again, I can turn this on and off here. I can actually turn which companies I want to see, all companies or no companies. This is not going to be particularly relevant for you guys at the moment, but you can actually add companies to filter. So I don't want to see jobs from Lockheed Martin, or I don't want to see jobs from Boeing or something like that. But you can see the location of all the jobs that you're dialed into. So if you click on that, it'll take you to the Ohio jobs. That's what I clicked on. And then on the right-hand side, feature job alignment. These are companies that Oplign has relationships with so that their recruiters are using. And I'm sorry, turn this all off. Turn that back on. Because I turned those off. It'll take a second because now I've just turned on a huge number of jobs. So now I can look. These are the jobs in Ohio that I'm initially kind of aligning to based on the qualifications that I said. And again, anytime I check anything's off, it's going to push that into my profile. I can edit that later, but for right here, it's just, yep, I've got that. As I can go ahead and open that job, look at, and then I can either click through and say, all right, I'm going to try to apply that job at Amazon and begin the application process right here. Or this is something that is very useful because again, we're we're providing sort of an intelligence platform. Hey, I want to reach out to somebody at Amazon, or this sounds like a really interesting job for me. I'm gonna get on LinkedIn, and now I can go dial into Amazon, find out who I need to talk to at Amazon or any other company that I might be interested in, and make that begin to have that conversation, make it a little more effective because I'm now, who in America hold or Boeing, right? So I can actually go through and say, all right, well, this, I'm aligning this job, and who should I talk to? So you can search LinkedIn to find people that are in your network. Again, we're augmenting the ability to network properly. They're in your network that might be working at Boeing or know someone at Boeing. So a friend of a friend kind of thing. Hey, can you get me in to talk to someone at Boeing because I'm interested in this job in Arlington, Virginia, and move forward that way. Any other questions? See, we're coming up on time, so I want to make sure we have some time. There is a ton of stuff in here, so I could spend a lot more time kind of diving around on this. But
And I'll add in just quickly, the way I usually describe this tool to folks looking for jobs as a targeting tool, right? If you're starting your job search and you're looking for jobs or looking for internships, begin with this platform. It will point you in the right direction where your skills align to open jobs. From there, I always recommend trying to find someone at the company that you know or someone at the school can connect you with. Because in reality, I think I've seen over my 10 years in the space, applying online is rarely effective, right? Having someone at that company that can advocate for you is key, but it's hard to know, all the companies that are out there. It's hard to know where your skills align. So when you're starting that job search process, use the Oplign tool to help target yourself into, okay, I know I want to be in this state. I want to do business type jobs, and you can figure out companies that are hiring and are looking for the skills that you have. From there, like I said, I think it's key to network, use LinkedIn, use your network at the school, use your friends to network. I mean, that's the reality of how the job, actually getting a job typically works. But again, this really can be huge in starting your process to figure out how your skills, how your education, what jobs, what classes you can take to help you be more marketable in the job world can provide to you. So that's key stuff. So really good. That's to me is a key thing, for you and why you should use the tool as a targeting tool during your job search process.
So one other thing that we've added just recently, and you'll see it's here in beta, is this resume builder component. So we've incorporated some, machine learning and a little lightweight AI in this to basically build a narrative of all of this information you've added. Now, this will probably look crazy in here because I've kind of randomly clicked stuff that's not part of a coherent message. But what it will do is basically print out a resume based on the information that you've got there. So we're actually working through right now, and you can print page. It's, you can print a PDF. Obviously my this is all kind of fake, but it allows you to have sort of a narrative that you can build really quickly. One thing we are working on right now is pairing this capability with specific jobs. So if you're like, hey, I'm really interested in this job, I want to build a resume based on the qualifications of this job and the qualifications I have, and it will kind of combine it to show how relevant you are to that job in a narrative way. So look for that. That's coming out here in the next month or so. I think we're going to finish development of that in December. But it's sort of a, it's sort of a fun thing, but it also makes it easier for you. So, one thing you always, you can see here, this is a bunch of random stuff, but it's always challenging to have to rewrite resumes for every job that you're applying to. And that's always the guidance that people give you. It's like, oh, you got to craft your resume to make it look, to make it relevant to the job you're applying to. Well, okay, if you're doing that, and you've got a wide variety of experience, that can be daunting. So here we're trying to do this, make this a little easier for you. Again, this is completely free to you guys. This is, and we'd love your feedback. So if there is something that looks funny or doesn't work or, is just plain old weird, please let us know. Feel free to email me. I think I put my email in the chat, and say, hey, this is who I am. And this is what I see, or this is really great. I really like this. It'd be great if it could also do this. So we're always taking feedback from our customers, from our users, from partners like Southern New Hampshire University on how we can do things better or differently, and improve the product for you guys. So with that, I think we're at time. So I'm gonna go ahead and stop. But yeah, do not hesitate to reach out. Again, there's also, remember, this isn't a guarantee of a job. It's just a way of showing you the right job. So the big thing to understand is we're trying to help remove a lot of the information asymmetry that exists in the marketplace, to give you a little more information, a little more understanding of what's going on, and make it a little easier for you to hit that transition, right? Because you're not only, if you're at Southern New Hampshire, if you're getting out of the military and going to Southern New Hampshire, that's a great step, because now you can, they've got a pretty good handle on the skills that are required in the marketplace. But once you make that transition from school back into the labor market, then that's, we hope to answer a lot of your questions there. So.
Again, thank you, Alex and Tom and Bo, for being here today and sharing this wonderful resource, right? So, all of us here at the SNHU Career Team know that there are so many different tools out there to put in your tool bag as you're, advancing through your career advancement or your job search. You mentioned the resume tool that you have here and some of the AI stuff. That kind of aligns with what we do with the SNHU Skills First that we have on Career 360. So you can find all of the resources that we have here, including Oplign. They're just, they're featured right now, just right on the, I don't know if you guys are above the fold, but you're pretty close to being above the fold on the page there for our veterans and our military community. So this is a great resource, a great tool. That's why we included it. That's why we invited Bo and Alex and Tom here to show us and experience what it is. It's a lot to take in. I do get that. So like Alex mentioned, if you have questions or feedback, feel free to reach out to the folks at Oplign. You can reach out to me if you can't get a hold of somebody there for whatever, or if you have another question. And again, nothing here is to guarantee you a job, but all these tools are to help support you through that search. And again, like I mentioned at the beginning of the presentation, this is a lifelong benefit that you have as a SNU alum or active student, whatever you might be. So definitely come back as Oplign changes and integrates new things. Keep an eye on that, and those tools, like Alex mentioned, they're always updating and always making changes. So definitely do that. I think this is a fabulous resource, and hopefully, with our service members, it's another tool in your tool bag that can get you right. We're all here to help complete that mission to get you that civilian job that you're looking for. So once again, everybody,
Absolutely.
Thank you for your service. Thank you for being here today. If you haven't signed up yet for tomorrow's day 2 of our Veterans and Military Spouse Career Success Series, do that. We're going to have ACP is going to come in. That's American Corporate Partners. They offer great mentorships through their organization. I also volunteer and am a mentor through the ACP as well. I've been doing that for a few years now. And then on Friday, we're going to have day 3 of our series, where we're going to have smaller groups so we can get together and dive in a little bit deeper in the Oplign platform as well as ACP. So thank you, everybody, again, for being here today. Thank you for your service. Bo, Alex, and Tom, thanks again for being here today.
Yeah, thank you all very much.
Thanks for having us. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.